Hello, 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 Facebook family and friends. Happy Saturday afternoon. It is beautiful, beautiful out here in Southern California. I know it's been a very long time since I've done a wisdom walk. This is wisdom walk number 73. 73, and I think I've pretty much covered probably every topic under the sun. But I'm hoping to get to wisdom walk number 80 one day. But wisdom walk number 73. This one is going to be very, very, very controversial. But I'm going to kind of tickle your brain a little bit and make you think. And boy, do I wish I knew these things way back when, way back when I was making decisions to buy homes and do different things. This one is called Why I Would Never Ever Buy a Home Again. And as I start my walk and I look at my home and I think about, boy, the mistakes I made back in 1999 when I bought this house. So I'm going to touch a little bit on that. And this is going to be very, very controversial. And some of you will not understand, but I'm going to post a link. In fact, let me see if I can do that now. Maybe I can't do it while I'm on the live. I'm going to post a link on this live after I'm done, so you can go check the numbers for yourself, because each person will be a little bit different. But I wanted to give you this information so you can make a decision, and you can I mean, I sure wish someone would have told me this way back then. Boy, do I wish someone would have told me this way back then. My entire life would have changed back in 1999, 22 years ago. I just wish. The things that we don't know. Anyway, so let me break it down for you. So this is why I would never, ever own a home again. Firstly, I think a home is a great place to raise your family. Great place for memories. And as I look at it, hold on, the back of the home, we had some major rain damage in the last storm, so they have to come fix the trails a little bit. But great place to raise a family, great place for memories, but don't want to own it, and don't want to be in a situation where I'm taught, and this is what we're taught from our parents, to, hopefully own a home one day, pay it off after 30 years, and be debt free. Whew, the things that we're taught and the things that the community and our friends and family teaches us, and it's so wrong. And the elite of the elite knows you do not do things like that. So let me tickle your brain a little bit and let me break it down for you. I'm going to go with low numbers. Then after I'm done with this live, I'm going to post a link. And the link is a calculator that you can do the numbers yourself and break them down, because I'm going to try to do the numbers from memory. But if you want exact numbers, use the calculator link that I have. And this is all regarding compound interest. And when I tell you this information, it's going to spark something in your brain. I hope it does, because it will change everything for you, probably for the rest of your life, if you're planning on owning a home. So again, I wish someone told me this back in 1999 when I put a whole bunch of money down in that house and decided to buy it. So here's the scenario. I will start with my scenario, and I'll kind of back it up and bring it down to something that'll make more sense. But when I purchased that house, I remember in 1999, I think I put 10% down. The house was $800,000 in 1999. I put 80 grand down, and I think my mortgage payment back then was like, I don't know, I think it was somewhere around six or 7 grand a month, something like that. And of course, your goal is to pay it off. And we all know that we go through life and we think of paying things off, and we think of owning your home free and clear. And that's what we're taught. And never knew there was another way. So I'm gonna break down the other way. So let's use someone today that's gonna buy a normal size house, definitely not in California, but I'm talking to the world and the whole country. So I'm gonna kind of give you average numbers, definitely not California numbers. But let's say you're gonna buy a house for 300 grand and you're gonna put 10% down. Let's call it 250 grand and you're gonna put 10% down. That's $25,000 down. You put $25,000 down, you owe 2.25 on the house, plus whatever fees, whatever you have to pay, okay? My numbers may not be 100% accurate on it. The loan officers were probably going to be hating on me for saying this right now because, of course, it hurts their industry. But I would say the payment should be somewhere in the $2,000 range. I could be off, but let's just say $2,000 range. So you purchase this house, $250,000, put down $25,000. Let's forget about the closing costs and all that stuff. And we're paying $2,000 a month. Wonderful. So you're going to pay that for the next 30 years, which is going to cost you probably, I don't know, 600,000, 800,000, $1 million, $1.5 million, whatever. And you think you're doing really, really well. So let me give you an idea of my example. I bought that house 22 years ago, and it went from 800,000 to about 2.2 high. So that's roughly, let's see, 1 million is 1.8. So probably $1.4 million equity in 22 years. And I think I'm doing something great. Worst decision ever made. Here's what you can do with that $25,000 on that $250,000 house. You take the $25,000, you put it in an investment. You find the same home you're going to buy for $225,000 or $250,000. You rent it. Your rental payment will be somewhere around maybe $1,500 a month. Let's go high and say it's $2,000 a month. Same as your mortgage. You put the $25,000 into something like private gold, like I have been preaching and showing, which pays an average of about 1.2% per day. $25,000 in that account. In the first 90 days, we'll start making somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000 a month. So you have $8,000 to $10,000 a month coming in. You still have your $25,000. In that $25,000 will be about $2 million. There's no way in the world that $250,000 house in 2 years is going to be $2 million. Impossible. Real estate is a great investment, but it's not as great as 1.5% or 1.2% per day, or 6% a week, or 5% a week. It doesn't compute. Real estate does not grow that fast. So now you start withdrawing $2,000 a month out of this account, which is making about $8,000 to $10,000 a month now, and you pay for that rental home. Still live in the home. Your ego may not be able to handle it, but I don't care about ego. I care about being wealthy. I care about living a legacy. I care about not having to work anymore. So let's assume that you make about $6,000 a month, $5,000 a month, and most people, about 40 to 50% of their income goes to lodging. So you're making $6,000 a month, but all of a sudden now that $25,000 down payment you're about to put down is making you $8,000 a month. So you take the $8,000 a month, take $2,000 of it, pay your rental payment, quit your job, and you have $6,000 a month extra. That's the same $6,000 a month you're working for. Now your entire life has changed. What you wake up and do every single morning is change, and it's that simple. And nobody teaches us this stuff. Don't believe me? Grab onto that calculator I'm going to post as soon as this live's over. Put in the numbers for yourself. In 2 years, $25,000 compound interest at 1.2% per day comes out to about $2 million. So the thought will be, and I've said this before, but maybe you guys it didn't calculate on my next move when we decide to move to South Florida, and we're not going to move there permanently, but we're going to move there as a rental. I've already told the real estate agent, find me something in the $5 to $10 million range. I don't want to spend more than $50,000 a month rental. So here's the scenario, same scenario. If I found a $10 million home, let's say I put $2 million down. That $2 million goes down on the house. Now I owe $8. My mortgage payment will be somewhere around 50 to 60 grand a month. And I'm living. Okay, got to get insurance, got to pay taxes, got to do all that stuff. Instead, I'd rather not do that. I'll put the $2 million in the bank account, into an account, and I won't even put it in something aggressive as private gold. I'll put it in something like Novatech. Novatech pays me 3% per week. $2 million or 3% per week is about 200 grand a month in passive income. I take the $200,000 a month. I pay the $50,000 a month rental payment on the $10 million home. That leaves me $150,000 a month extra. That $150,000 can go to put a yacht in the backyard, can go to traveling, can go to helping to do whatever you want to do with it. You can build you can build churches, schools, hospitals, whatever you want to do. Go live your best life. You still own the home, but I think in our mind, our surroundings and our teachers and the people around you says, oh, you want to be a homeowner. When I go to bed at night and I walk by my home, and I'm walking through my home, the experience that I have has nothing, the paperwork that it says I have a deed of trust or I have a mortgage, the home does not care. My experiences have nothing to do with if I have a deed of trust or not. If I knew this information 22 years ago, I would be extremely wealthy at this point. I will probably be a multi-billionaire because the funds of $80,000 22 years ago, put that into your calculator. Put $80,000 into your calculator for 22 years at 3% per week, return, and it will come up to billions of dollars. This is how the wealthy become wealthy. The reason why they don't tell us things like this is because this is against the banking rules. This is against the people that run this country. It's against all the wealthy people because they don't want you to know this, because if you did this, they're not going to make that extra money. They're not going to make the millions and millions of dollars on hundreds of millions of people that own homes. Totally different story, different mindset. So they keep the information for the elite, for the wealthy, to themselves and continue living their wealthy life without us having any knowledge of this. And this information, you can't go to a school and get this information from school. You don't get it in college. You don't get it from your parents. You don't get it from your peers. There's nobody sitting around. Today is Saturday and you're out, by the beach and you guys are maybe having a drink and you're hanging out and you're having conversations. Those conversations don't happen. Because the reason those conversations don't happen because nobody teaches you this. Nobody teaches you this. So when I sit and I start putting it together and understanding and doing the math, I go, why don't they teach stuff like this? The reason they don't teach stuff like this because they want to keep us where they are so the wealthy can continue being wealthy. Well, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that one person at a time. This is why I do the wisdom walks. This is why I teach what I teach. This is why I show what I show. And you don't have to believe me. You guys have seen my t-shirt. My t-shirt says 1 + 1 = 5. You're right. Enjoy, because I'm not going to argue with anybody. I'm not going to argue the facts with anybody. It is what it is. You tell me logically, how what I just said doesn't make sense. You put $25,000 down on a house that cost you $250,000, and you're paying a mortgage for 30 years. What are you getting? Maybe in 30 years, that $225,000 or $250,000 house may be worth $700,000. I can show you how that $25,000 will be worth $700,000 in less than 3 or 4 years, compounding. So why would you put your money in something that's not going to give you the source? So the interesting part about it is after you do this, you're not going to want to rent a $250,000 house, because by the first 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you're making 12 grand a month, 15 grand a month. Now, instead of buying a $250,000 house, you're going to go rent $1 million house and have a $6,000 mortgage, or $6,000 rental. You don't need a mortgage. So you're paying $6,000 rental on the house, but you're not paying for the house. The house is free because the 25 grand that you have has now grown to 80 grand. The 80 grand has then grown to 150 grand. Then the 150 grand has now grown to 250 grand. And that's paying you 30 grand a month, 40 grand a month, whatever it's paying you. This is how the wealthy stay wealthy. This is the stuff that makes all the difference. But you can't learn this information anywhere. They don't teach this, and nobody's going to teach you this. But you have a logical brain. Sit down, take the link I'm about to post when I'm done with this, put in the numbers for yourself. This is how I put myself in a position not to do anything every day. This is how I pay for everything. I will never buy another house again, ever in my life. I may have 4 or 5 homes that I live in, and they're all leased, and they're all paid, not by me, because guess what? I've told you guys before in several other videos, I can't afford the cars in my garage. I can't afford the Range Rover I just ordered a couple of months ago. They'll be here probably another 6-7 months. I can't afford the boat that I just ordered. They'll be here in 2 years. I can't afford any of that stuff because I don't work. I have no income. I can't afford it. But my money can afford it because my money works 24/7. I put a suit and tie on it every single day and I send it out to work. And it brings me a whole bunch of babies. So those are the adults, they make babies, and I use those babies to afford whatever I want. Life is not difficult. This stuff is so simple, so easy. Just do the math. But quit listening to people that don't understand this, don't teach this, because they don't want you to, look, the wealthy people don't want you to know this. I'm going to keep screaming from the mountaintop. This is the type of things that changes everything. I wish I didn't own that house. I wish I was just renting it, but it's too late now because it's been 22 years. I learned. So my next house in Florida, that's going to be sitting in the water, that's somewhere between maybe 5, 10, 15 million dollars. I'm going to rent it and I'm going to live there for free. The reason I'm going to live there for free is I'm going to put 2 million, 3 million, whatever it is, into account, something very, very safe, very easy, like Novatech, that pays me 3% per week. 3% per week at $3 million is roughly $300,000 a month income. For $300,000 a month, I can live in a palace, a $15 million palace on the water for maybe 75 grand a month, maybe 100 grand a month. Stick a boat, stick whatever cars I want in the driveway, and all of that will be paid by the money I would have used as a down payment. And here's the beautiful part. I still got the $3 million. It's not spent. It's not put on real estate. If the hurricanes come or something goes wrong, I pack up and I leave. If the house gets damaged, the owner's got the responsibility. I don't. I go find another house. Hope this makes sense. I hope you understand. It is what it is. Now, I haven't done a wisdom walk in a while, so I don't think you guys have seen the full effect of what happened in the backyard. The water's still not clear enough. You can see the fish, but the guy has to put a UV light on there, so it's not doing very well. But this was the project. Our third oldest is over. I think her and Lisa are out shopping. So her car is here, and that's the little backyard. It's all done and all finished. Oh, I think Onyx has been in that room opening that shade. That's what Onyx likes to go look out the windows. And there's the little putting green. It's all done. And of course, my view that I so love. And that's it. So that's the reason why I'll never own a house again. And I sure wish someone would have told me that before I would have slapped down $80,000 down on this house and put that $80,000 to work. The things you learn and the things that people don't teach you. Take care, everybody. Love you all. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.